I love gaming laptops, even though they are objectively terrible purchases in almost every single way. They're louder, they run hotter, they're more expensive, they're harder to repair, and they almost always perform worse than a desktop with the same name on the spec sheet. And if you ask any PC enthusiast what you should buy, they'll probably tell you the same thing. Just build a desktop. So why do I find myself still wanting to buy a gaming laptop? In today's video, I wanted to talk about my love for gaming laptops. I've built plenty of desktops. I know exactly how much performance you get for your money by building your own custom PC. My current desktop has an Intel Core i7-14700KF paired with a Radeon RX 9070 XT. And it absolutely destroys every single gaming laptop on the market. It runs cooler, it's quieter, it's easier to upgrade, and delivers far more performance for the money. So this advice isn't coming from someone who doesn't know any better. It's from someone who knows better and still loves laptops anyway. This also isn't coming from someone who's only ever owned one laptop. Over the past few years, I've owned an Acer Nitro 5, a Lenovo Lock, an Acer Predator Helios, an M4 MacBook Air, and now an M5 MacBook Pro. As of recently, I've also been eyeing an ROG Strix Scar. Looking back, it's kind of funny because every single one of those computers was trying to solve the same problem in a different way. The Lenovo Lock was my first gaming laptop, and to be honest, the battery life on that computer was actually terrible. I had one with an HX processor, and it lasted maybe an hour or two away from the wall. The Lenovo Lock did offer incredible value, it just had a really bad battery life. And I won't lie, the Acer Predator that I got afterwards did amaze me with how much performance Acer managed to fit into that 14-inch chassis, alongside having better battery life than the Lock, but it still wasn't the most impressive computer that I've used recently. The M4 MacBook Air was actually the most impressive machine, because it proved to me that you didn't need fans, or even a dedicated GPU to have an incredibly fast computer. And now the M5 MacBook Pro that I've upgraded to now feels like it condensed every feature I've ever wanted into one amazing device. Every one of those machines had flaws. Some got too hot, some were loud, some had terrible battery life. For instance, my Acer Predator for some reason just could not run Helldivers 2 at all. And yet, I find myself still coming back to laptops. At first, you really only chase the specification sheets, a faster CPU, a better GPU, more RAM, a brighter display, better battery life. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized I wasn't really chasing specs at all. And even if I was, there was very few computers on the market that would have absolutely everything I wanted for an affordable price. If I had an unlimited budget, I would have just bought an ROG Strix Scar and called it a day. What I was chasing was the idea of having an incredibly powerful computer that I could throw into my backpack and take anywhere, even though I rarely leave my house outside of my commute to work. And I think that's something that I had been chasing this entire time. I think that's why I bought the M5 MacBook Pro. Now, before anybody says anything, I know it's not a gaming laptop. In fact, if your primary goal is gaming, I would never even consider buying a Mac. My desktop absolutely demolishes it in gaming performance, and that's just the reality. But when I bought this MacBook, I realized I wasn't just buying a MacBook. I was buying the same experience that made me fall in love with gaming laptops years ago. The idea that I could have an absurd amount of computing power inside of something that fits into my backpack. I can record gameplay on my desktop, transfer it over, edit the raw video on my MacBook, write scripts wherever I want, and carry my entire workflow with me. That freedom is incredibly difficult to explain until you've actually experienced it. And that is something that previous computers I've owned just simply cannot replicate. When I started editing my first YouTube videos on this M5 Pro, I immediately understood why so many content creators love these machines. It wasn't just about benchmarks, it was about how effortless everything was. Scrubbing through timelines was unbelievably smooth, exporting videos was quick, and the battery lasts all day. Instead of thinking about my computer, I was just thinking about creating. And I think that these MacBooks are sadly worth the money. I understand that they're horrendously overpriced, and it's definitely gotten worse now that we're months into the Rampocalypse, but the fact that I have a beast of a desktop and still choose to edit on a MacBook should speak volumes about these devices. One thing I didn't fully appreciate until I started using my M5 MacBook Pro is just how much the battery life changes the experience of owning a portable computer. Now, don't get me wrong, every gaming laptop I've owned could edit videos. My Acer Nitro, my Lenovo Lock, and my Predator 14 were all perfectly capable machines. But there was always a catch. If I wanted their full performance, they had to be plugged into the wall. And that's what makes gaming laptops kind of lose their magic for me. The entire appeal of a laptop is portability, if you ask me. The idea that you can pick it up and use it anywhere. But when your laptop needs a giant power brick in your backpack just to deliver the advertised performance, it starts to feel a lot less portable. The M5 MacBook Pro was the first computer I've ever owned that I didn't have to think about that. Whether I'm editing a YouTube video on my couch, or writing a script while on a lunch break, or working somewhere without an outlet nearby, the experience is almost always exactly the same. I don't have to wonder if my battery is going to die in an hour, or if the processor is going to slow down because it isn't plugged into the closest wall outlet, and I think, honestly, that's one of the highest compliments you can give to any piece of technology. It just gets out of your way. And I don't think we give engineers enough credit for what they're actually doing. Like, take a second and think about what a gaming laptop actually is. An engineer managed to fit a high-end CPU, a dedicated GPU, RAM, multiple SSDs, a whole display, speakers, a keyboard, a battery, and even a heatsink into something that you can carry in one hand. Like, that's pretty insane when you think about it. Yes, they get hot. Yes, the fans sound like jet engines, or even a PS4, if you've ever had the misfortune of owning an older model. Yes, they're terrible value compared to desktops, but the fact that they work as well as they do is kind of incredible. I think that's what I've always admired about them. They're engineering taken to the absolute extreme in the same way that smartphones are. Now, if someone asked me where to spend $2,000 purely for gaming, I'd still tell them to build a desktop every single time. You'll get more performance, better cooling, lower temperatures, more upgradability, and a computer that's probably going to last longer. From a value perspective, a desktop wins every time. But not every purchase has to be about maximizing value. Sometimes we buy things because we admire the engineering. Sometimes we buy things because they fit our lifestyle. Sometimes we buy things because they inspire us. And I think that's something that a lot of enthusiasts forget. We spend so much time arguing over benchmarks that we forget computers are supposed to be machines that bring us happiness. If owning a portable computer makes you excited about editing videos, creating music, or learning something new, then maybe that's enough. Maybe the point isn't owning the fastest computer. Maybe the point is to own a computer that makes you want to use it. At the end of the day, I still believe that desktops are better value. I still recommend them to almost everyone. But every time a company announces a new gaming laptop, I still watch every review. I still watch Jared's Tech just to compare the specs. I still imagine what it would be like to own one. Maybe that's irrational. Maybe it's nostalgia. Or maybe I finally realized that I was never really obsessed with gaming laptops, but just the idea of what they are. Beautiful pieces of engineering designed to bring joy and fun into our lives. I've always been obsessed with the idea of the personal computer, a device designed to allow you to bring your wildest dreams to life. And I think it's something that we all take for granted now. So next time you're watching a review or a benchmark and you feel down because you think you made a poor decision, or maybe you could have gotten some more bang for the buck, just remember that as long as it makes you happy and it allows you to create something meaningful, that's ultimately all that matters.